And welcome to Knit All the Things. My name is Laurel. I'm also known as West Maven on Instagram, Ravelry, and here. If you're new, this is a space where I talk about all the things I'm knitting, all the things I want to knit, all things yarn, just all the things. And if you're returning, welcome back, Knitting Bestie. I can't wait to catch up with you. In this week's episode, I'm going to share some of your comments that you have made on our last video about the things that you are not bringing into 2026. I have a finished object to share with you and some knitting plans, I think. So grab your project, get cozy, and let's go. So we are going to talk a little bit about the previous video. So if you haven't watched that, you can pause this one and head back to that video, and I'll also link it in the corner. But essentially, I was talking about things that I didn't want to bring into 2026 knitting-wise and life-wise. And as I have been reflecting on that and kind of preparing for some sort of recap video, which I haven't started yet, but it'll happen, I think. I've been thinking about your guys' comments, so I did want to share some of those. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to comment on my videos, and so thank you so much. I also quickly, just admin, I do have a newsletter, so if you are curious about patterns I talk about during the episode, I always link them in the description, but I also send an email once I've published a video, so you have all that information. All right, let's get into it. So one of the things I didn't want to bring into 2026 was knitting a pattern just because it's popular. Now, if it's popular and I love it, that's a different story. But sometimes, especially podcasting and just in life, you have this sense of like wanting to belong and everybody's doing it, so why don't I do it? And I'm just gonna let that go because oftentimes it isn't a style that I love, or it isn't a design that is really speaking to me. And so I don't need to be jumping on that bandwagon, if you will. I will say this is an exception. A bunch of people made the Rosie sweater when she first shared it. This is by Ina Home Sanso, also known as Knit. And when she started sharing sneak peeks of this on her Instagram before it was published, I instantly was like, ooh, I know why I would want to knit this. I really love the shape. I have the perfect yarn. Like the inspiration just was already coming to me. And that is always a really good sign that I want to knit something and that it's the right thing for me. And that instant inspiration of like mentally picturing yarn or mentally picturing a product. So with this one, I instantly had that inspiration. I knew what I wanted it to look like. I was already styling it mentally, what I wanted to wear with it and how I wanted to wear it and the fit that I was looking for. All those things like instantly came to me. I had multiple versions, in fact, in my head. I settled on this one with the Knitting for Olive no waste wool and the black merino. I really loved the no waste wool, so if you get a chance to knit with that, please do. It is amazing. They take 50% extra fine merino and then 50% recycled wool and make this yarn, and I really enjoyed knitting with it so much. And the black is black, which sometimes you get yarn and the black is charcoal. It's not really black, but this one is like a very true black. One other kind of thing to note with this one is I did use the same fingering weight yarn for the contrast color in both the flowers and the leaves, but I did use different fuzzes. I'm often asked how to pick yarn. I will link the video that kind of explains that because I've gone into quite a bunch of detail and what I would look for. Unfortunately, the flower color is just not available, so I give you tips on trying to find kind of your own beautiful, unique color for that. So please check that out. Okay, so that's kind of my, I mean, I have a bunch of different thoughts on things I'm not bringing into 2026, but that was like one of the big ones. Another one was to make sweaters more edgy using a plain pattern, which I'm still in the midst of deciding what that is going to look like, and a few other ones. But I wanted to read to you guys your comments because one, I appreciated that you commented, and two, you guys had some really good ones. So I really wanted to share that with everyone. I pulled them up, so I'm going to be looking down to read them, but know that I'm trying to do this quickly so that I'm not just being distracting in that way. So Tracy of 10 a.m. Tracy wrote that she's been trying to do something like this as well. She only had 2 whips starting 2026, and she hasn't cast on anything new because nothing is pulling me to knit it right now. So instead of she's been learning to embroider, which I think is super cool, because not only is that going to be a cool addition to knits if she chooses to do that, but it's also, I think, a new way of unlocking creativity. She says she's been giving attention to her spinning, and then when she does start a new knit, she's going to plan to continue to be creative and seeing what cool personalizations that she can do. So I really love that because, one, if you don't follow Tracy, she's amazing. She spins the most beautiful yarn. Really incredible. Really spectacular knitter. She's customized so many knits in colors that she's chosen and everything, that it's really inspiring to see her knits. Another one is from LMA Little River. She says that this episode feels very timely. I've been reorganizing my Ravelry queue that was 700 plus patterns. I'm loving the favorites bundles to file my collection and reduce my queue to projects that really excite me for this year, and linking them to my stash. Many patterns were no longer vibing and I let them go. This was a huge task, but so inspiring. What a great idea. Like actually going through your Ravelry queue or your favorites or maybe your saved tabs on Instagram and actually whittling down the like things that maybe were like an instant, oh, that's cool, but then after you sat with it, not quite the right thing for you. Or maybe you could appreciate the beautiful pattern or sweater, but you don't necessarily need to wear that or knit that. So I thought that was a really great one. Sleepy Dr. J says, my ready to knit stash isn't very big, but it has a lot of stuff that I'm not thrilled with or not enough to work with. I have piles of undyed yarn that I don't consider stash. My handspun yarn started as so much fun, but not enough to make a project, which added to the unused stash. So in the past year or two, I've started identifying a project and color I wanted to make. Then I dye or spin to knit that specific project. I'm really happy with this process. By the time I'm ready to dye for the next project, I really enjoy the dyeing. Then I spin, then knit. There's plenty of time to look forward to the next phase so that there is continual forward momentum. Sometimes for a fast sweater or a shawl or a sock, I dye enough yarn to make that project and cut out that time or labor of the spinning. I love my Easy V sweater, my favorite garment. I just finished my Halo sweater before Christmas. The sleeves on the Halo are a bit fussy and less like the easy sweatshirt feel of the Easy V. So it makes it a little bit more dressy and probably will get a little less wear. So I do appreciate that tip because I am thinking about knitting the Halo. I think that's really fascinating. So instead of just like having this huge stash, she like plans ahead, like, okay, this is my project. And then she can make it exactly what she wants instead of like not quite having the right amount of yarn or not quite having enough. So like actually pulling back and waiting to, if you don't dye your own yarn, make that purchase until you're really ready to cast on or like close to ready to cast on is such a good tip, because I think for me, I had no stash prior to 2020, like zero. I would only buy yarn and then immediately knit it. I never thought to buy yarn and have it just on standby. But because of 2020 and the pandemic and all that, having to actually go through and, you know, maybe not be able to get yarn or not be able to have it as accessible kind of made me stash it away a little bit more. And then I started running into things like if I wanted to do a test knit, then I would have some on hand to do that. But at the same time, one thing that I really don't have in my stash like heavily is like DK weight yarn, which I often will be like, oh, I wish I had it for whatever reason. So then for those sweaters, I just buy it and immediately make it, and I'm happier because I'm not having to wait and have that delayed enthusiasm. I think it's just a really great way to kind of make use of stash, but also keep in mind that you can approach each project as if you're starting that day rather than the whole stash scenario. But I do understand stash because I do have some. I actually, right before filming this, if I have time, I'll try to throw this in like a little B-roll. But I essentially went through my stash and I have one container that is sweater quantity, gray, navy black yarn, then. And typically the yarns that I put in there were ones that I was thinking about making cardigans for. And then I have another bin that's very colorful yarns that I bought for like pullover sweater quantities. And they're ones I never think about, like ever, at all. I even opened it up and went, oh yeah, I have that. So I'm gonna give it maybe the year or maybe less to see if I ever want to open that bin, the colorful bin. And if I don't, that is going to be the key. Like, we need to now find homes for this yarn because it's not something I'll use. It's something I aspired to use, but if I'm honest with myself, if I have yellow yarn, I love the color yellow. Secret about me. I like to wear a lot of black. But if I were to just go, oh, I love to just pick a color, I really like yellow. I think it's a beautiful color. It's not something I ever wear. Like, I don't want to wear yellow. But because I like the color, when I saw this yarn, it was so soft and fluffy and yellow, I thought, I'm going to get this. I am personally not going to wear it. So it's either going to be something that I knit for someone else, or it needs to be rehomed because it's just, I won't wear it. Like, I know that I won't. It has nothing to do with if it will look nice on me or not, like nothing like that. I just know that I won't wear it. So that, for example, is in there in the colorful bin, and I don't know that I will actually wear it. Part of me doesn't want to 100% just wipe it out right now because there are some yarns in there that may be really good for color work, and I might need to just go, I don't really need the whole sweaters quantity, but one skein for this one project is what I'm going to use it for, and then the rest de-stash or donate or whatever it is. Put up for a giveaway later, something like that. Okay, the next one, Judith Taylor says that she only knits what she thinks will suit her, not what's the latest craze, which again, that is like definitely one of those things where we really have to think about, is it gonna be something you'll actually wear or is it something that's like cool? Because it's fine to like enjoy something, but you don't necessarily want it always to live with you. Like, there's artwork I'm sure that you've seen that's like really pretty, but like, do you really want to look at that every day? Same thing. Okay, Beverly Fussfield says, I've also been looking at the Poet sweater along with Sari's Kutar sweater. I love them both, but I'm not sure which one will work best for me. I don't have the right yarn for either one. I think the lace work would look gorgeous with beads, sequins, or sparkly yarn. Yes, Beverly, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. I really think you could throw some beads on that one and have it be really stunning, or even the sparkly yarn. I really like those ideas. And actually, before I continue to move on, I made an Ica, which is a lacy sweater in a very sparkly yarn. One thing I will say about that, because it was a thicker sparkle, it did not show the lace as well, which I didn't care one way or another, but it is something to consider and definitely swatch for that. And then she also says, another designer I've been looking at is Hinterm Stein. Her designs are very tailored and have beautiful textures. I especially love the big Y. If I do make that one, it won't be until next winter though. So again, I love the suggestion because I'm definitely going to go check out those patterns. And yes, I do think adding beads or something to the Poet could be super, super cool for sure. And there's so many Poet. So the Poet is a sweater by Sari Nordlund, and it comes in a few different options. I think she has like a mohair version with more billowy sleeves. There's the original Poet that had shorter, tighter sleeves. And then I think there is at least one other variation, and they're all really, really beautiful. Okay, so Wayward Sister says, I don't knit patterns because they're popular. I've never knit a petite knit because of that. I knit what I'm attracted to and what challenges me and brings me joy. That said, I've recently been through my knits and unraveled ones I no longer wear. Good on you. I think of doing that. Then I look at it and go, oh, the time. Like, even if I love the yarn, it is hard to do. So I'm proud of you for doing that because it really is a hard thing to do, I think. Oh, and she says, I love your black knits. They're beautiful and inspirational. Basically, I'm trying to knit what I want, not what influencers think I should. I've recently knit the Darcy cardigan. It's plain, basic, and my most worn. Basically, knit what you love and we will love it too. Life is far too short to not to love what you're knitting. Oh, and keep knitting in black. It's right. Thank you. I appreciate that. When I went through my yarn and had like the whole thing of like gray, navy, black, the whole thing was full of black yarn. I was like, I love this yarn. I like that I can go into my stash and grab some that I know I instantly will knit and wear all of the time. Okay, Andrea says, I can highly recommend the Fiola. I made one a few years ago for my mom and she still wears it, and I keep thinking I need to make one for myself. You should. We should both make that one. The Fiola is a pattern by Isabel Kramer. It's really pretty. I will hopefully put it on the screen. I think it's a really like elegant, basic sweater that you can dress up or down for sure, depending on what yarn you use. And then I can also say the Poet is a great knit. I have the mohair edition for myself and I adore it. It's one of my proudest knits. So I love this. Like, I love recommendations. If you guys ever have ones that you like just so loved knitting and you would knit again, please let me know. Okay. As for knitting rituals, I knit almost every night, even if it's just a few rounds on a sock. I only have 2 or 3 works going at once, and I love that. I also go through my entire yarn stash once a quarter, pull everything out, evaluate how I feel about each skein, and keep or donate as I see fit. It's not fun, but it helps me remember what I have and why I was excited about the yarn. I rarely get rid of any of it, but I always keep that option open. I think this is an excellent suggestion. Like once a quarter. I also think it's great to go through your yarn stash if you're feeling not excited about knitting, which happens to everyone. One, it's okay just to not knit. That's fine. But if you're like wanting to knit, but you're just not feeling that excitement, like go through, rearrange, touch the yarn, like think about why you maybe bought it in the first place, and maybe that will spark something too. Here for Pink Plants says, I love trying to make basics more edgy and have so many ideas. Pinterest may be a great place to start. I love this recommendation. I agree. I believe I'll put it in the newsletter. I do have a Pinterest going that has like fashion trends of various knitwear and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested, I will include that in the email for this episode. Jasmine Ortega says, I bought the tendril sweater pattern this week after living rent-free in my brain for a year. I like the basic shape and the shoulder detail that gives it a twist. There are other patterns in my queue that I don't feel like knitting anymore. Right now, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. Life is too short to not to be obsessed with my knitting. I agree. I totally agree with you. Sandy Dancy, which Sandy, if you're watching this, I always appreciate you commenting. I swear you probably comment on every single one of my videos and it totally makes my day. So thank you for that. She says, I tricked you guys. So if you've been around a long time, my thumbnail on my last video had a picture of my Fertigenzer, which is this sweater right here. And I didn't love knitting it, I will say, but I really do think it turned out really cool. And she thought I was regretting it because I had it on there. It's just like a placekeeper of like the idea. So let's see. Sandy says that so many incubating dreams of older pattern beauties out there. Very worthy of letting the right ones manifest. I have a Hannah, which is one of the ones I highlighted, and Drops Bolmol, I think I said that right, Lynn Brown. Have made 4 out of 6 body panels. Would love to see the final result come together and wear it, but it goes back to on the back burner when true woolly season is here. And I really like this sweater too. The Hannah is really spectacular. I like that it's knit in panels. Definitely climbs up the list. I just think on that one I really need to find the right yarn. And Barbara says and I like this one because it's very specific and it's knowing yourself and what you like in a fit of a sweater. So she says, I'm not going to knit any sweaters that have an oversized cuff. Dislike the look, dislike the way it just looks uncomfortable, dislike the sloppy look, not classy or classic at all. Will not be buying any patterns with those baggy sleeves. So I will say, I love, Barbara, that you just know what you want and what you don't want. I will say, if anything ever comes up where you're like, oh, I like this sweater, but those baggy sleeves I'm not into, there's definitely ways to switch that up, but I totally get it. I don't like super fitted sweaters. Like I try to love them. I just know that I won't wear them because I want to feel cozy when I'm wearing a sweater. Really, I think is my biggest thing. I don't know, like I've always liked to wear baggier tops in general, but I really do like wearing, I love a turtleneck. I cannot say, like in my work uniform, there's a lot of options. Back in the day, I used to be a flight attendant. There's a lot of options like the collared shirts and all different things. And we had a turtleneck and I was the turtleneck girl up until like it was unhealthily warm to be wearing them. But I just loved the fit. So anyway, I wanted to reflect on your guys' comments. One, because I so appreciate the time that you guys take to make them. I think some of you guys had all of you had some really great recommendations as far as patterns were concerned, recommendations as far as like really deciding like what is going to fit in your lifestyle this year. I think there's enough tumultuous things in the world right now that actually like appreciating the stress-free space that knitting can provide is really important. So all of that to say, thank you guys so much for commenting. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into what I made in the last couple of weeks. So after I'm like, I love wearing black yarn. I love knitting it. I'm going to show you the least black thing in my stash. So I bought this yarn from House of a la Mode. She, in my opinion, is queen of speckled yarns. Like the micro speckles on this bad boy are crazy. There we go. The micro speckles in this yarn are insane. They're like a blue, I want to say, and kind of a reddish micro speckle. Ooh, my camera doesn't like me today. All right. So the micro speckles in this are quite amazing. I think she's super talented. It is like a lime green with maybe a tiny bit of like a baby minty teal color. It's bright. It's so bright. When I saw it on her website though, it like drew me in more than once and I had a plan. This is the thing. If I have a plan, then I need to get it. One of the plans being that I really want to make my kids a sweater with this yarn, which I do have enough, at least for like a main color, and then do different color stripes for them. They're kind of in the phase at 5 and 7 where they don't like wearing anything warm outside, like a coat or anything. So I'm a bit worried that if I knit them something, they may not wear it, but I might just do it anyway because it'll bring me joy and that's the point. Typically, I do like to use PetiteKnit patterns for them because they are pretty basic. I have used the Seaside sweater pattern as an example. I think I have knit that one 5 or 6 times, I think. I think I made one for like a baby size one that both kids wore, and then my kids are like the same size, so there's no hand-me-downs. So then I knit the same thing twice, essentially, most of the time. So I do think that is in the future. But the thing that I had in mind, which I believe Heather, the owner of House of a la Mode, posted hers probably, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say. She knit this hat. It's called the Snøfrost Hat. It is by the Petite Knitter. And this one is really cute. I really like the pattern. I like that it starts with one color and then ends up in another color. Like that brings me so much joy. Heather's hat is white with green, and I think she used a different yarn, but it's kind of the same vibe, and it's really cute. I found this at my local yarn shop, the Starlight Knitting Society. Just to finish it off, you can do, and I think it would look really nice to have a yarn pom-pom on the top. However, my kids yank on them. I've made them each a hat with a yarn pom-pom, and they've nearly like disintegrated one of them. I had to kind of sort of fix. So it's just not something I'm wanting to put time into because I think it gets a bit beat up. But there's this one. So this is for one of the kids. I still have to make a different one. I'll kind of wear it. It's gonna mess up my hair and you guys are gonna just have to deal with it, but it's cute. Look how cute that is. So cute. I really like it. I had so much fun knitting it. I don't mind doing, just a tiny bit, get back together. I don't mind knitting the 1x1 ribbing at all. I actually think it's kind of nice. I used La Bien Aimé's DK, Merino DK for the black. Her Noir yarn is so nice. It is, again, another really true black. I really like it a lot. It is, you know, on the more expensive side, especially if you're in the US, having it shipped. If you see this in the next couple of days after I've posted this, I think she has a warehouse sale going on, so maybe go check that out. And then the Noir is on sale, so that helps. I do not know, because I'm not sponsored by that by any means, but I do not know what duties and all of that are, because I bought it, 1, at a store, and 2, I think before tariffs. So just so you know. If you are in the US, I do know that Starlight Knitting Society does carry the Merino DK, and I think also the mohair. So I do know that there are some local in the US stores that carry it, and worldwide I'm sure you can get shipped from La Bien Aimée. So that's the cute hat. Again, this has been an example of something I've wanted to knit since I first saw Heather's version, which has been several years, and I do not know why I didn't immediately cast it on. I'm guessing that I was intimidated by the color work, I think. I want to say last year was the first color work hat I ever knit. I hope I'm not lying. I don't think I'm lying. I think it was the first color work hat I knit. I don't know why I haven't knit one before. I've done sweaters and socks, but for whatever reason, not hats. And I made a Pac-Man hat for my husband with a little floofy thing, and he loves it and wears it all the time. And in fact, after I finished this, he was like, "Oh, is that my new hat?" And I was like, "Oh, it's probably on the small side. I would have made the bigger one for you." But, so I have at least one more, if not 2 more of these. I do have plenty of yarn to make a second one exactly the same. Again, my kids are now in the phase 2 where they don't want to be so matching, so I'm gonna see if it's gonna be okay to inverse them and have the one start with the green and end with the black, and see if that's different enough, if I can get away with it. But yeah, I really had fun. I also have some really pretty blue fingering weight yarn that I could hold double instead of the black, is another like variation, if you will. But I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think it turned out so pretty. I highly recommend it. It might come in, oh man, I wish I knew. Let me look. The Snøfrost Hat by the Petite Knitter comes in, I think, 2 sizes. Oh, 2 sizes. So I made the small size, so it's like small medium. So I made the smaller size of the 2. The size difference isn't huge. I think it's like 1 more repeat just to get like an idea. But yeah, I really like how it turned out. I'm sure you could figure out how to make it a size smaller if you wanted, or a size bigger, just given like the thing, the instructions between the 2, like what the difference would be. But yeah, I really like it. It's nice. And I had a lot of fun knitting it. It went by so quickly, especially once I got to the color work. I think I spent like a day, maybe a day and a half on the brim, and then like this much of the hat for one day, and then the rest. So it was really, really fast. I really had fun doing it, and I need to make a couple more, maybe inverse. We'll see. Okay, I've been working on 2 other projects, slowly but surely, and mostly this one. Oh, I'm like eating buzz or something. Sorry. Okay, so the other thing I've been working on, I bought this yarn at Sacred Sheep this year. It is by Deegan. It's a collaboration between Deegan and Fan Fibers, something like that. This is the colorway I'm liking it, and I want to say I looked on Deegan's website and I didn't see it, but I think on the other person's fiber fiction, I don't have the thing, fiber fiction, something like that. Fiction fibers, something, I don't know, sorry. I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, I bought one thing and thought I would make a cowl. And I thought about it and I just didn't have the best idea for that. Like I wanted to use the majority of the ball of yarn, all different kinds of things. And I decided I would make my first Sophie Scarf. Sophie Scarf. But I think it's going to be in between the two-ish because I have not quite used I think this is the size of what a normal one would be, and then you decrease or whatever. And I'm gonna have so much yarn that I'm just gonna go until I have like half left and then do my decreases and just call it good. But I really like how this is turning out, mostly because of the blue spots. It's almost giving like little polka dot effect kind of in the yarn. It's really cool. And the one kind of negative, but it's to me not negative, is that you really can't see the like garter stitches. Like it just doesn't show up with the bouclé yarn. I don't care really so much, but if you were wanting that look for real, this isn't the yarn for you, but I like it. I kind of like how it's turning out. I really like seeing the little blips of blue. I think it's going to be a nice little accessory. Part of the reason I decided to do this as opposed to a cowl that you just pop over your head was because I think a couple podcasts ago I was wearing one of my shawls and then I like wore it the rest of the week, like every day. And I was like, oh, this is so nice just to have like a little tiny shawl. And so I thought I would knit something else to wear. And I really then can like just celebrate the yarn because I think the pattern is so simple that the yarn just really gets to shine here. So I am excited to continue on this. I have like all of these stupid because I can't see where the lines are particularly well. So I've just been marking all of the like increases and then just have like random ones hanging to like grab from. I think when I go to do decreases, I'm just gonna start moving them to keep track. But for now, that's what the chaos is. And I think I'm not gonna add more to this scarf. I think I'll just like start pulling them out from between like every fifth one leaving, just so I can kind of keep track of when I do decreases, like how many I'm gonna be doing. But yeah, that's what that chaos is. That's what the chaos is. I also had started knitting this with 2 different interchangeable needle sets, and I kept like catching on the yarn quite a bit. I don't know if I want to blame the yarn on this or if it's just because I used 2 different interchangeable needle sets and I felt like it just kept catching. So I switched to just a fixed needle that I had. This one happens to be Addie, but I guess if you have that available in your stash, I would use the fixed needle for this rather than the interchangeable, is the one thing that I've learned so far. So that's what I've got so far. And then the other thing that I have been like picking up here and there has been the half and half triangles wrap. I haven't done terribly far. Like last night, I just did like an inch. But I have this color, which is super orange, I want to say, and then a bright flamingo, which these are not my colors. However, I use mine that is the rose granite and black one all the time as a throw. So I was kind of essentially thinking I would just use this as a throw, but not to wear in my, like, out. I don't want to be seen in this color. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's not really a color, but it is a nice like color therapy to be knitting. And then I think as I was going through my yarn stash, like I was telling you, I think I will be trying to knit something, a basic black something. I also got, I'm not sure if I have it anywhere near me. I also got a mystery skeins from Treehouse Knits, and I'll show you. I'll show you guys. So I got 3 skeins. The way that she did her mystery skeins this time was you could select like the base you wanted, and then under that it would allow you to select like what would be in the mystery in terms of like you could select like 3 of the same color. You don't know what the color is or whatever, but you could just pick like 3 of the same. And so I got these 3 skeins on her Snøfrost sock, which is 90% extra fine merino and 10% nylon, 437 yards, 100 grams. And so I got these 3. And I thought it could make a nice sweater. Since I didn't know the color or like what it was going to be like, I thought maybe it would be nice to add a mohair to like make all the variegation make sense. I'm hoping there isn't heavy pooling, would be my only thing I wouldn't totally love. I do have a sweater that has pooling, and to be honest, it's not that bad. But if I can avoid it, I will try to, which may mean alternating skeins or something. But then I have this from a long time ago. This is not like deep stash, but it's been in my stash for like a year. Frankie Gray Fibers mohair. So it's like this really pretty, like purpley charcoal kind of. And I thought that would be awesome. It'll like make the purples pop. It'll tone down some of it a little bit. But I still think it will allow it to shine through. I think it could be really pretty. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it could be nice to do like the Monday sweater by PetiteKnit. I've just knit one before, or some sort of raglan sweater, because they're very easy to like mindlessly knit. So I thought that could be really pretty. This skein is a serendipity, so it's not like a colorway she normally does, or it was like a test or something, but it has some like browns and greens and blues and purples, some lighter colors. I really think it's a super interesting skein. So I'm excited to do something with them. I think it'll be cool. I think this could be super cool together. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It was fun. I like doing her mysteries mostly because I don't think she ever has made ugly yarn. And that sounds bad. I guess that sounds like other people make ugly yarn, and that's not what I mean. But I feel like her colors that she typically picks are colors I would use, maybe is a better way of putting that. So I felt pretty safe choosing a mystery skein. And actually the flowers in my Rosie were mystery ones from her. So I actually got 2 skeins that I think would make maybe another pretty rosy, brighter colored flower. So I'll show those when I get ready to actually use them. But I wanted to show you this because I thought it might be a nice, like quick, fun project. And then I get to use like new stash and like old stash. And this is very much my color. And I think we'll like tone down some of the brighter tones in here and make it all more my color. So it's something I want to swatch for sure just to see how it turns out, but it's kind of an exciting little combo for me. And then because I add the mohair, I can do like a little bit bigger gauge sweater. So it'll be something that would be like just a fast fun knit, and something I probably will wear a lot. So something I'm thinking about making something with. Not 100% sure on what it will be yet. I might try to pick something where I'm really interested in the construction of the garment, or maybe it's a construction of something I haven't like knit before. So I'm still thinking on what it will be, but I found the mohair, like it came to my mind, and in my head it was a little bit more gray leaning. So I was really excited when I dug it out and found out that it was more purple leaning. So I think it could be really nice. Okay. Other than that, I've been listening to tons of audiobooks. I have listened to, for 2025, I ended up listening to 92 audiobooks. That is because I don't typically watch a ton of TV when I'm knitting. I typically just listen to something because I sort of need a little bit more concentration depending on like the project I'm working on. So I don't typically watch a lot of things while I'm knitting, but I'm looking forward to trying to maybe do the same thing this year. Maybe I get 100, which seems like a very lofty goal, but who knows? I do listen to a lot of things throughout the day while I'm doing other stuff, so it's very possible. All right. Anyway, if you guys have something that you are currently listening to, or it's a book that you're interested in, please drop it in the comments below because I would be very excited to hear about it. If you have a knitting thing that you are not bringing into 2026 and you want to share it with us, please leave it in the comments below. I would like to this year highlight you guys, whether that's you tagging me in a picture of a knit that you're really excited and proud of. I would love to share more of those things because I think it's fun seeing what you guys are all working on, what you're excited about, what's like sparking joy in your life. So please share those things. And then once I get my life a little bit more in order, I do think I will be doing a giveaway in the near future on some of those very colorful yarns that just aren't quite me. So please make sure that if we are not yet knitting besties to hit the subscribe button, and please like this video. It tells YouTube the other fiber enthusiasts like yourself enjoy this type of content. Until next time, make some yarn magic. Bye!